Imagine a future where your freedom is not negotiable, where the way you spend your time is a deliberate choice, not a reaction, where your daily life actually feels like it belongs to you, where satisfaction is not a lucky accident, but something you engineered on purpose. For a growing number of single men, that future is not a fantasy. It starts the moment they stop living as passengers in their own story and step into the role of architect. This isn't about following a trend or copying someone else's high-value man blueprint. It's about something simpler and tougher, taking full ownership of your life, designing it, defending it, living it. And for the modern man standing on the edge of 2025 and beyond, this shift is no longer optional, it's survival. 1. The old script is dead, and no one told you what replaced it. In my work with men, through counselling, coaching, and content, I see the same confusion over and over. You were raised on a script that no longer matches reality. You were told, get a stable job, find a good woman, get married, buy a house, build a family, and in return, you were promised respect, stability, identity, a sense of being enough. But the world you're living in now is not the world that script was written for. The economy is unstable, dating culture is chaotic, divorce is common, legal and social systems are not exactly built in your favour, so you end up in a strange position. Old expectations still sit on your shoulders, modern pressures pile on top, and no one can clearly explain what success even means anymore. You feel pulled in opposite directions. Open up emotionally versus don't be too sensitive. Be strong versus don't be toxic. Be ambitious versus have work-life balance. Be independent versus why are you so distant? It's almost impossible to follow every rule at once. A lot of men respond to this by clinging to old markers of success. A relationship, any relationship. A job, any job. Stability, no matter the cost. They pour themselves into careers they don't respect. Enter relationships out of fear of being alone. Suppress what they truly want to maintain an image they never consciously chose. They feel trapped by expectations they never signed up for but don't know how to walk away from. Somewhere in that confusion, a quieter truth is easy to miss. In this era, fulfillment is no longer about hitting external milestones. It's about building a life that matches your own values, even if those values don't match what you were told a real man should want. The world of 2025 does not reward blind obedience to tradition. It rewards men who think clearly, adapt intentionally, and design their lives on purpose. You can no longer afford to drift. 2. Preparation is not advice anymore, it's a requirement. The pace of change is not slowing down. Technology reshapes careers. Costs of living keep shifting. Dating norms evolve faster than most people can understand. If you are not prepared mentally, financially, and emotionally, you don't just feel stressed, you feel lost. Preparation isn't a motivational slogan. It has become a line between two types of men. Men who constantly react. Men who quietly shape their future. When you prepare, your mind is trained, not scattered. Your finances serve you, not trap you. Your skills are updated, not outdated. Your emotions are resilient, not fragile. You stop living in permanent crisis mode. You gain something most people never experience. A sense of solidity in a world that is constantly moving. You are no longer defined by what your boss decides, what a partner decides, what your family expects. You become dangerous in the best sense of the word. Hard to manipulate, hard to corner, hard to break. And that is the entire point of this way of living, not to avoid people, not to reject relationships, but to become so stable in yourself that any relationship you enter is a choice. Not a lifeline, not a rescue mission, not an escape from your own emptiness. You build a life that is full and self-sustaining. If someone joins you, it's an enhancement. If no one does, the life itself still stands. That starts with understanding the landscape you are in, the pressures men carry now, the expectations that no longer fit, and the new definition of fulfillment emerging for this generation. 3. The modern single man's reality. The life of a single man in 2025 is not what it was even 10 years ago. On paper, he has more options than ever. Remote work, travel opportunities, access to information, ability to build multiple income streams, freedom from immediate social pressure to marry early. But with those options comes a new kind of weight. More decisions, more distractions, more voices telling him what he should do. Traditionally, a man's worth was measured by how much he provided, whether he settled down, whether he followed the path, job, wife, kids, mortgage. Today, that blueprint is cracked. In its place, men are hit with mixed signals from every direction. You're told, be kind, but not weak. Be successful, but not obsessed. Be vulnerable, but still stoic. Put yourself first, but always be available. Trying to please all of these demands at once is a guaranteed way to feel like you're failing, even when you're not. Some men respond by going numb and drifting. Others double down on outdated ideas and run themselves into the ground. The men who end up thriving do something different. They stop asking, what does everyone want from me? And start asking, what do I actually want from myself? They stop letting life happen to them. They start designing it. That design begins with the most obvious, but most neglected, pillar, your financial stronghold. 4. Your financial stronghold, freedom's first wall. If you strip away all the words, one fact remains. You are not truly free if you are financially fragile. For decades, the male financial script was simple. Get a single job, work hard, save a little, retire eventually. That formula worked briefly for a world where careers were stable, costs were predictable, one income could support a family. That world is gone. Today, industries shift in months. Layoffs happen overnight. Inflation quietly eats into paychecks. Renting or owning in many places feels like a gamble. Relying on one paycheck and one plan is not security, it's exposure. A modern man must think differently about money. From worker to builder, the first mental shift is this. You are not just an earner, you are a builder. Your job is one income stream, not your entire life. Financial strength today means building savings that actually matter, reducing high-interest debt that drains you, learning to invest instead of just consume, creating secondary income streams, skills, side work, small ventures, understanding where your money goes and why. This is not about becoming obsessed with wealth. It's about making money serve your values instead of your fear. Protection is part of strength. Most men ignore protection until it's too late. No emergency fund, no clear exit plan from a bad job or toxic environment, no understanding of what happens if a relationship ends, no legal or financial buffers. Then one crisis hits, a breakup, a layoff, a health issue, and everything crumbles. Protection is not paranoia. It's respect for your effort. You work to earn every dollar. You work to build every asset. Letting it all be at the mercy of one event is not noble. It's reckless. When you structure your finances wisely, something changes inside you. You're no longer hostage to a job you hate. You're no longer trapped in a relationship because you can't afford to leave. You're no longer forcing yourself into roles just to survive. You gain leverage. You don't scream. You don't threaten. You simply have the power to walk away when something violates your standards. That is the first real taste of independence. And once money is no longer your immediate weakness, a deeper level of freedom opens up. Mastering yourself. 5. Personal mastery. Freedom. No one can take. Financial stability can give you options, but personal mastery determines what you actually do with them. True autonomy is not just having choices. It's having the competence and resilience to walk those paths without crumbling. A lot of men underestimate how much confidence comes from basic self-sufficiency. When you keep your space clean and functional, handle your own responsibilities without waiting for someone else to rescue you, Fix what you can, learn what you don't know, and solve problems instead of avoiding them. You start to see yourself differently. You stop feeling like a boy who needs permission. You start feeling like a capable man. That shift is subtle but powerful. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You stop apologizing for existing. Skills that quietly change everything. Personal mastery is not about becoming an extreme survivalist. It's about mastering the basics, managing your time instead of losing it to distractions, organizing your finances, maintaining your health, learning useful skills, technical, physical, or creative, staying calm when things go wrong instead of spiraling. These aren't just practical advantages, they build a core belief. Whatever happens, I can handle it. From that belief comes genuine calm, not fake stoicism, but real inner steadiness. You still need people, just not in the same way. Even the most self-sufficient man is still human. You are not built to do life alone, in a cave. The difference is this: you stop needing relationships to prop you up emotionally. You start choosing relationships that strengthen you. You invest in honest male friendships, mentors who've walked further than you, communities where you share real interests, not just temporary entertainment. You get support, but not dependency. You get connection, but not chaos. You are no longer begging one romantic relationship to fulfill every psychological need you have. That alone changes how you show up in the world. 6. Boundaries, dating, and the weight of expectations. As you become more grounded, one thing becomes clear. You cannot live a self-directed life if everyone has unlimited access to you. Boundaries stop being a theory and become a necessity. Boundaries are not aggression. A lot of men equate boundaries with being harsh or distant. In reality, a boundary is simple. This is what I accept. This is what I do not. Here's what happens if that line is crossed. It applies to friends who constantly drain your energy, family who try to control your decisions, colleagues who push everything on your plate, romantic partners who expect your life to revolve around their emotions. Without boundaries, you are not kind. You are exhausted. You are agreeable on the surface and resentful underneath. With boundaries, you can actually be more patient and calm, because you know where your line is and what you will do if it's crossed. Modern dating, through a different lens. Dating in 2025 is noisy. Opinions everywhere, contradictions everywhere. Games, unspoken rules, hidden expectations. It's easy to feel like you have to. Prove yourself constantly. Adapt to whatever the other person wants. Chase validation so you don't feel rejected. A grounded man plays a different game. He doesn't date out of fear of being alone. He doesn't pretend to want things he doesn't. He doesn't stay when the cost is his peace. Instead, he looks for emotional stability, not constant thrill. Compatibility in values, not just surface attraction. Mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice. He is clear in his intentions and honest about his limits. If someone doesn't align with the life he's building, he doesn't hate them. He simply doesn't merge his path with theirs. Handling social pressure. People will still ask, when are you settling down? Aren't you worried about being alone? Why are you so focused on yourself? They will project their fears onto your choices. The difference now is that you have a filter. Does this person understand the life I'm building? Do I trust their judgment more than my own? If the answer is no, their opinion is just noise. Your life is not a group project. You are not required to live in a way that makes everyone else comfortable. Your job is not to meet their timeline. Your job is to live in line with your own values. Once you truly accept that, you earn something rare, the mental space to design a future you actually want. 7. Designing a future that actually belongs to you. When the noise quiets, when your finances are stabilizing, when your skills and boundaries are growing, you're left with a question most men never seriously face. What kind of life do I actually want? Not, what have I been told to want? But, what kind of days do I want to live? What kind of man do I want to become? What do I want my health, my work, my free time to look like? What kind of contribution do I want to make, if any? Designing your future is not about fantasy. It's about clarity. You don't need a perfect 20-year plan. You need a direction and a standard. Start with the man, not the goals. Instead of starting with external goals, money, status, outcomes, start with the man you want to be. Ask, how does he carry himself? How does he speak? How does he treat his body? What does he tolerate and what does he reject? What does his average day look like? Then ask, what can I do this week that moves me 1 inch closer to that man? It might be going to the gym consistently, reading instead of scrolling at night, building a small side income skill, saying no to one thing that drains you, fixing one small problem you've been avoiding. These are not glamorous moves, but they are real. Every deliberate action is a signal to yourself. I am not drifting, I am building. Lifestyle, as an expression of values. As you gain clarity, life decisions become less random. Where you live, what work you do, who you keep around, how you spend your free time. All become reflections of your values, not accidents. You choose experiences, not to impress anyone, not to escape your life, but because they grow you. Travel, projects, hobbies, learning, all become tools to sharpen you, not distractions to numb you. That is what it means to live intentionally. 8. Protecting your freedom. Over the long game, there's a trap here, and you need to see it. The moment your life starts to improve, new pressures will appear. You'll be tempted to overcommit again. Take on responsibilities that don't align with your values. Let people back into your life who interrupt your peace. Drift away from the habits that made you strong. The world will always pull you back toward autopilot. That's why freedom is not a one-time event. It's maintenance. You protect it by regularly reassessing your commitments, watching for old patterns creeping back in, being honest when something no longer fits, saying no even when it disappoints people. You will outgrow certain roles. You will outgrow certain environments. You will outgrow certain relationships. That is not disloyalty to others. It's loyalty to the man you are becoming. You're not avoiding responsibility. You're choosing the ones that actually make sense for the life you're building. 9. The quiet satisfaction most people never reach. There's a point in this path where something subtle but profound happens. You wake up one day and realize your worth is no longer tied to who texts you back. You're not constantly worried about what people think. You don't feel the urge to prove yourself in every interaction. You're no longer living for a future fantasy or a past promise. You start to feel something that used to feel out of reach. Contentment, not boredom, not stagnation, but the calm satisfaction of knowing you are living a life that matches your values. You are moving forward, even if slowly. You are no longer betraying yourself just to keep peace with others. You can still strive, you can still want more, but you are no longer empty. From that place, connection changes shape again. You can actually love without clinging, commit without self-erasure, support others without losing your center, because you are not asking another person to fill in the gaps you refuse to work on yourself. 10. What this path really is, and what it isn't. This entire journey is easy to misunderstand. It is not. Men going their own way, out of bitterness. A call to reject relationships forever. An excuse to be selfish or numb. A performance of coldness to feel powerful. It is. A call to build a foundation so solid that you are no longer easily controlled by fear, expectation, or need. A demand that your life reflect your values, not just your conditioning. A commitment to live with intention, not on autopilot. From there, you are free to choose partnership or single life family or solitude, city or quiet town, high ambition or simple living. The point is that you choose, not panic, not pressure, not family guilt, Not social media narratives, you. When you reach that point, you can finally understand. Fulfillment is not handed to you. It is not granted by a relationship, a title, or a paycheck. It is built piece by piece by a man who decides that his life is his responsibility, not in theory, in practice. And if you are that man, or you want to be, your work starts now. Stabilize your money. Upgrade your skills. Strengthen your body. Protect your mind. Choose your circle carefully. Set your standards. Design your future on purpose. Not because anyone will clap for you, but because this is your one life, and it deserves more than autopilot.